my cutest little children. Hello, hello, hello. Good evening to all of you, and I'm literally very sorry. Yes, I hope I am audible and I am visible as well. So children, we'll just wait for a minute such that everyone else also can join, and then we can go ahead. And I really hope you had a good day today at school. So, dear children, so this is supposed to be the last lecture for human reproduction, because we have covered this chapter almost, I think, in 4 parts until now. In the first part, where we discussed about the male reproductive system in detail. In the second part, we discussed about the female reproductive system. And now over here, we have discussed about, in the third part, we have discussed about spermatogenesis and oogenesis. And the fourth part, it was menstrual cycle as well as fertilizing. That was the last thing that I did. And over here, the video looks like this. In each and every video, you can see part 1, part 2, part 3 and part 4. Okay, and this is going to be part 5. Cool. Aksa is there. Ma'am, KCET round 1 result. Dear, KCET round 1 result was supposed to come in morning 11 a.m. Even I have been waiting for that. I'm so sorry it has not come yet. Okay. So I was checking, but I do not know while I'm in the live if at all it comes. But yes, until now, till this particular time, it was not out. Now, ma'am, for BVACT, now I got 68K. I'll get the college or not. Please tell KK or wait for round 2. There are chances that you may get it. Okay. There are chances that you could get it, but obviously I cannot give the surety about that, because the cutoff trend this year is kind of very crazy if at all we check. Yes. So guys, I am right over here for the academic session for 2027. I do understand you have so many doubts around 2026 counseling. I'll ask you, if possible, please refrain from asking it right now. Rather, probably you can put it down in the comment section of the videos, because here anyway I will not be able to answer. The reason being that I also do not remember the numbers of the colleges, their cutoff and everything. So it could be not a good information, obviously, right? So I'm so sorry, but yes. Okay. Please try to ask me in the comment section, or probably I can plan a live separately for you guys where I'll be catering all of your doubts. That's my promise. So most probably by tomorrow you could see a live on all this thing. Okay. And thank you so much for your understanding. Yes. Okay. So now going ahead with 2026 champions. Listen to me very carefully. So as in the previous session, we discussed about one thing, and that was what? The sperm, which is the male gamete, right? Sperm, which is the male gamete, fuses with the female gamete, right? That was the ovum. And finally, what do you get, Baba? You get zygote. Now, you might think, ma'am, this is a cell with a nucleus. This is another cell with a nucleus. When both of these cells comes together, basically you will get a zygote that is having 2 cells, but it is not like that. It is not going to be like that. Rather, it's just one cell where both of their nucleus is going to be combined. So here you had half the number of chromosome. We always say n number of chromosome. Okay, so generally normal cells has 2n number of chromosome, or basically 46 number of chromosome. When it comes to gametes, they only carry half of it. What is half of 46? It is basically 23. Why is it like that? Because this guy will carry 23. This girl will also carry 23. 23 comes together, becomes 46 over here. 46 over here, that means n and n comes together over here to become 2n. Diploid. It becomes diploid again. It's a normal number of chromosome that we actually needed. Cool? Got it? So over here you have got a zygote where the cytoplasm of both of these cells were used, majorly of the ovum. The male gamete does not have too much amount of cytoplasm, to be honest. So it's the female gamete cytoplasm which is mostly being used up. The nucleus fuses together. Now the nucleus is one and the cell is also just one. So zygote, always remember, I have told you initially also, it is going to be unicellular. Can you imagine you, me, your friends, every one of us was just a normal single-celled thing. which was known as zygote once. Then what happened? How did we become this? How have we become this? So basically, this zygote which is there, it underwent division. It started dividing. What type of division? It is known as mitosis. What do you mean by mitosis? Mitosis means a cell is there, it divides into two. The number of cells increase. What about the chromosome? It remains the same. So here if I had 46 number of chromosome, here also I will have 46 only. But the number of cell would be increasing. So now the zygote which is there, it is going to start dividing. One cell becomes two cell, two becomes four, four becomes eight, and this division is actually known as what? Cleavage. It is known as cleavage in biological terms. This division of zygote to form what? To form embryo. So until now, zygote was a single cellular thing. Now when I say the zygote has divided into two cells, it has already become multicellular. And this multicellular structure which is there is known as embryo. And embryo has multiple stages. Some of the embryo is 4-cell stage, some is 8-cell stage. And depending on the number of cells which are present in the embryo, you have different names for it. So I was just giving you a brief of the introduction about it. And now we are going to start the class. By the way, KCET has not released the seat allotment, Jasmine Ma'am. Yes, Gandharva, even I was waiting for it. Once it does, probably you will be... Anyway, I have recorded a video for you guys which will be very important. It will be released once it is out. Okay, now... I think I was talking about that only. Okay, anyways. So now it's time for transforming the zygote, which is why I was talking about division, right? We were talking about division. So what exactly happened over here? The sperm and the egg fused over here. We had got the zygote. The zygote, which is single cell, it has now divided into two. These two cells have now divided into four. Okay, now this 4 cells have divided into 8. Now you are going to start naming the cell. Okay, now you are going to start naming the cell. So over here, when I say that embryo has almost 8 to 16 cells in them, or the embryo is formed of 8 to 16 cells, I am going to call it what? I am going to call it morula. I will call this morula. It's a cute little name, right? Okay. So we learned from you, ma'am, student and all. Thank you so much, WXE Edits. Okay, thank you so much. So, yes. Cool. So this is known as morula when the embryo has almost 8 to 16 cells. Now what happens? Later on, this also divides. This morula which is there, it is also going to divide. And finally, we have to learn just one more name. We do not know the name of all the different kinds of embryo. We just have to remember this name, morula, 8 to 16 cell. And then one more, very important type of embryo, where what is going to happen? I'm going to make it right over here, I think. Yes. So over here, I had the morula where the number of cells were 8 to 16. This is morula. What is it? It is basically a stage of embryo. A stage of embryo. Now there is another stage where what is going to happen? You have so many cells such that some cells are lined outward like this. They make a boundary like this. And then some cells are going to make a group over here like this. Okay, ma'am, what about this particular space which is there? This is khali space. This is basically cavity out there. There is nothing out there. There's a cavity. Okay, so what do you call? Do you have any name, different name for all these layers, ma'am? The outer layer which is there and the inner layer which is there? Yes, there is a name. And what is the name? Listen to me very carefully. The outer layer of cell is known as trophoblast. It is known as trophoblast. Okay, ma'am, what about the inner layer of cells out there? They are known as the inner cell mass. Okay, it is actually known as the inner cell mass. And this is a cavity. We can call this as a blastocele. Blastocele. Cele basically means cavity. Coelom basically means cavity. So this is the blastocele out there. This is the trophoblast. You have the inner cell mass. Ma'am, just like how you have named morula, do you have any specific name for this? The answer is yes. We definitely have a name for this. Do you guys have any idea? Any one of you who probably is watching this video and is a KCET 2027 aspirant, do you know the name of this particular type of embryo? Shanta, I'm so sorry. Even I do not know the exact reason for that, dear. I wish I could help you. Guys, can you tell me the name of this? Anyone knows the name of this particular embryo? Okay, I feel that no one knows. Probably all of us are thinking. Okay, so I'll only tell. In that particular case, I'll call this as blastocyst. It is known as blastocyst. So there is morula and there is blastocyst, which you have to remember. By the way, all the cells over here which forms the embryo, they also have a name. They are known as blastomeres. So this cell is a blastomere, this is also a blastomere, this is also a blastomere, and all the blastomeres come together to form the embryo. If it is 8 to 16 blastomeres, you will call it morula. If at all it is more than that and basically has a structure like this, basically I'm going to call it blastocyst. Okay, and this process where your zygote, which formed right over here, so your zygote formed right over here. Why right over here? Because this is the place. It's basically it's basically ampulla where the fertilization took place. Where the fertilization, that is basically the fusion of the male and the female gamete took place. Now from here the zygote divides, divide, and will be moving into what? Into the uterus out there. Why in the uterus? Because uterus provides all the condition which is favorable for this embryo to grow into a fetus with hands, legs and everything. And this process, while the zygote goes on dividing, is known as cleavage, and while it is going towards the uterus, you say it is known as cleavage towards the uterus, or basically division towards the uterus. Okay? And Shanta, I'll definitely try my best to inform the team as well, dear. Cool? Yes, fine. Now over here. Okay. Now let's read it. What is written? Cleavage is what? Zygote divides into 2, 4, 8, 16 cells. Basically nothing. They are known as blastomeres. Okay. Then morula formation happens. That was 8 to 16 cell stage happens over here. Then blastocyst formation happens. By the way, in between that there are so many other stages which you do not have to remember because it's not there in your NCERT. So now we have formed the blastocyst. The outer layer is known as trophoblast. And the inner mass is known as inner cell mass out there. That is the one. Okay, that is the one that forms the embryo. Now that creates confusion, which is why I'm going to go back into it and probably go in a bit more detail. Okay, good? Yes. So over here, you had got the trophoblast. This is what? The trophoblast. And you have these cells which are known as inner cell mass, about which we just studied. Now I'm telling you, basically it has come inside the uterus. It has now reached the uterus. What exactly happens within the uterus? In the uterus, if at all you have seen, we know about different wall layers. The outer wall layer is known as perimetrium. Okay, then there is a muscular layer over here which is known as what? Myometrium. And finally, there is a very important glandular layer which is going to support the embryo and is going to provide the nutrition, everything out there, which is known as endometrium. It is known as endometrium. Now, our dear embryo was here in the fallopian tube. It is coming down, it's rolling down, dividing, increasing its number, and it comes down over here in this stage, in blastocyst stage. And you know what happens? It gets embedded into the endometrium. That means it says that, Macha, please have me. You have to take care of me. Let me get inside slowly. This is known as embedding. Okay, this is known as embedding. And this particular process where the blastocyst, or basically the embryonic stage, goes and embeds into the endometrium is known as implantation. You are implanting something. This is known as implantation. Now you might think, why is that happening? So, ma'am, you only told it's basically placenta, sorry, endometrium is there. Endometrium provides nutrition. That is why it is going and getting implanted. That's not the only thing. Please do understand, that's not the only thing. Lot of other things are also gonna take place. Do you have any idea what is the next process over here? Hello, Manju. I hope you're doing good. Any idea, guys? What is the next step that is going to take place over here? I told you implantation took place. That means blastocyst came and embedded over here into the endometrium. But what is the next thing? Okay, so probably that might again take time. So I'll only tell. So listen to me very carefully. Now things are going to change. Endometrium is there. It's totally fine. It is going to provide nourishment to the embryo there. But that's not enough. That's not enough. The embryo is gonna grow. It is one day going to become a baby like this. And for that, obviously, you need a steady support of things. For that, you need something else, which is known as what? Placenta. It is known as placenta. So you have to make that. Now, how can we make that, ma'am? Basically, we do not have anything. So, division of zygote. Division of zygote took place over here, dear, and that's how we got the embryo. But good try. Okay? So, this is how it goes off. Now, we want to make the placenta. How can this embryo or this particular structure help me in the formation of placenta? Or basically, how can this structure and the endometrium help me in the formation of placenta? Let's check that. And now that is given in the NCERT, it's kind of complicated, which is why I need your attention. So, the yellow thing that I am making over here is the trophoblast. Okay, and this white thing that I am making over here is nothing but the group of cells, which I call as the inner cell mass. Right? And over here, what do I have? I have the endometrium. This is the endometrium, which is coming from the mother's side. So this is a maternal tissue. I'll write it. This is a maternal tissue, right? It is coming from the mother's side. What about this? Basically, this is the embryo side. So I'll say this is embryonic tissue. This is coming from the embryo side, right? Right. Okay. Now what exactly happens is, after the process of implantation, slowly this particular trophoblast which is there is going to make finger-like projections like this. It makes finger-like projection like this. And in this finger-like projections, obviously the maternal side also is going to contribute with some blood-filled spaces. First of all, what do you call this finger-like projections as? You are going to call this as chorionic villi. So always understand, you had your trophoblast right over here. This trophoblast helps in the formation of chorionic villi, which is nothing but a finger-like projection. Now this finger-like projection is there. From the mother's side, what is going to happen? It is also going to contribute something. Okay, it is also going to contribute something. Together, this thing that you see over here is slowly going to transform. Now I'm going to change the picture and you have to be really careful. Together, both of them are going to form something like this, which is known as the placenta. And what happens to the inner cell mass? Ma'am, you didn't change anything in the inner cell mass. The inner cell mass which is there, it is the one that finally divides into what? The actual fetus, or basically that's the embryo proper. Even though it was a part of, both of this was a part of embryo, but later on inner cell mass is the one that actually takes part in the embryo formation and later fetus formation. And what happens to trophoblast? Trophoblast helps in the formation of the placenta. What about the endometrium? Some of it remains as such, not worry. The rest of it mostly is used up for the formation of placenta. Now obviously this cannot be in the air. The baby cannot be in the air, which is exactly why, what do you have connecting both of them? Basically you have something which is known as umbilical cord. Spelling is wrong. Okay, just a second. Okay, it is known as umbilical cord. This is what is going to happen. Manju says placenta helps to exchange gases. Exactly. And Manju also said it's known as villi. Good going. I'm really, really happy. Okay. So over here, Shanta, yes, I'll let the team know. But to be honest, this is not something that we can help you. Okay, because I've been seeing you commenting this from very long time. I really wish I could help you, but I don't think, because we have asked once and twice. So yes. Okay, but I'll still try. Cool. Anyways, so what happened over here? We had the embryo. Embryo was there. There were different stages of embryo. It came down rolling. Now it was in the uterus. It went and embedded into the wall of the uterus. Which wall? Endometrium. Endometrium was providing nutrition and everything. This process of embedding is known as what? It is known as implantation. Later on, the trophoblast, which is there, forms finger-like projections, and basically from the mother side also some their maternal tissue is there to contribute. Both of them together form what? The placenta. Okay, and what happens to the inner cell mass? Inner cell mass actually forms the embryo, which is why I'll say that inner cell mass is the one which develops into embryo proper. This is a term that we use, embryo proper. Rest of it, the trophoblast, is used for the formation of the placenta, and both of them basically they're attached with the help of what? Umbilical cord. In the umbilical cord you will be having arteries and veins doing all this thing. They'll not allow the mother's blood and the baby's blood to come together. Okay, so blood basically undergoes diffusion. Whatever thing is there in this particular blood can go to the next part. Okay, suppose here you have a blood vessel, here you have a blood vessel. If here oxygen is more and here it is less, okay, it is going to go from the place it is more to the place it is less. So there is no need that the actual blood basically come in contact with each other, and that is being made sure of. Okay, now over here, what does the placenta do? By the way, until this particular point, is it actually clear to all of you? Until this particular point, is it clear to all of you? If yes, can you give me a thumbs up? Then probably we can go ahead and talk about the placenta. By the way, that is why it is written inner cell mass forms the embryo. So you might be thinking inner cell mass is a part of the embryo. How does it form the embryo? Basically, we can say it forms the embryo proper. It forms the embryo proper. That means it is the actual one which is later on going to form the, the fetus and everything out there. Cool. And what happens to the trophoblast? Trophoblast is basically the one that contributes in formation of placenta. Okay, so I believe it's cool, and in that case we have to go ahead. Let's see all about placenta. So we spoke about it right over here, and that is being mentioned over here. Chorionic villi is finger-like projections on trophoblast surrounded by maternal blood. So the trophoblast which was there, it made the villi like this, right? And here it is surrounded by blood spaces. That is exactly what I'm trying to say. This blood spaces basically which is there is contributed from the mother. This is contributed from the embryo. Now placenta formation, chorionic villi plus the uterine tissue. Already you had the uterine tissue, that is the endometrium, right? And chorionic villi is formed with the help of the embryo. Both of them come together to form the placenta. Always remember, placenta is what? The structural and functional link between the mother and fetus. It is the structural and the functional link that is there between the mother and fetus. Without it, basically the baby is not going to survive out there. Okay, and what is the use of placenta? Exchange. Exchange of what? Basically oxygen, carbon dioxide, all of it. The baby needs oxygen. The mother's blood will be having oxygen. That oxygen is going to diffuse from higher concentration to lower concentration, that is in the baby. Now what about the baby? Baby will be respiring and basically producing too much amount of carbon dioxide. Now this carbon dioxide has to be removed. So from the baby's blood, it is going to go to the mother's blood. Again, diffusion, it's not like the blood is mixing. Okay, so always remember that. First thing, exchange happens, supplies oxygens and also nutrients, and removes CO2 and waste. So whatever good thing is there, it goes from the mother to the baby, that is oxygen as well as the nutrients. Whatever bad thing is there, suppose CO2 as well as waste, it comes from back from the mother, sorry, from the baby to the mother, and through the mother it will be moved out of her body. That is how it usually goes. Now what is the one that helps in connection of this particular placenta which is made over here? What is the thing that helps in connection of this particular placenta with the baby? In the navel of the baby, through this you have an umbilical cord. Umbilical cord which is there for the connection. Umbilical cord helps in connection between what? Between the fetus as well as the mother. And always remember this very, very important thing. Apart from, placenta, doing the exchange and helping in oxygen transport or probably removal of CO2 and all the waste, it is also doing one very important thing. It functions as, okay, remember this, it functions as a temporary what? Temporary endocrine system or endocrine tissue, not system, tissue. It functions as temporary endocrine tissue. Why do you call it temporary? Baba, it is not going to be there throughout. Okay, only during pregnancy this is there, right? Which is why you call it temporary endocrine tissue. Good. Yes, and by endocrine, I mean that they are going to produce some hormones. And these hormones are super, super important for the process of pregnancy to happen very smoothly. If these hormones are not there, pregnancy is not going to happen smoothly. Got it? Ma'am, please tell KCET first round result timing. Mr. Iconic, dear, I'm in the live. I really do not know. Okay, so... even I was actually waiting for it. I even made a video for what you should be doing next, but apparently they have not given anything. Let me just check it once more. Okay, I think there's an update that has come. No. Sports revised rest, nothing has come. So sorry, Iconic, it has not come yet according to the website that I'm viewing with my mobile. But in computer and all, it could be different. Please check that. Okay. So I could only check after this particular class has been done. But we'll definitely update you when it is out. Okay. Okay. Okay, so we were talking about why, placenta is known as temporary endocrine tissue are there because it produces hormones, and these hormones are super important for the survival of the baby, okay, for the survival of the fetus. Now, what hormones? They are very important. 4 hormones, and you have got so many, I'll say so many KCET PYQs on the basis of it. These placental hormones are very, very important. The first one is human chorionic gonadotrophin. What does it do? If you remember when we were talking about the menstruation cycle, okay, the menstrual cycle, what was happening? Whenever, okay, you wanted to make sure that the endometrium, okay, you wanted to make sure that the endometrium remains thick. You needed the help of one very important hormone, that was progesterone. Now, who was maintaining the progesterone? It was basically nothing but the corpus luteum. Corpus luteum. Under the influence of what? Under the influence of luteinizing hormone. Now, when the level of progesterone increased, it didn't want LH to be there. There was a negative feedback that was taking place. Okay, it was saying that, hey, Macha, LH, I don't like you. I do not want you to be there. Now, if LH is not there, do you think corpus luteum can be maintained? Who is going to maintain it? Which is why the progesterone also goes down. And that is how there is menses or basically bleeding in our case, because the endometrium could not be maintained. But what if fertilization took place? That is, the male and the female gamete, they came together and they formed the zygote. In this particular case, you need someone to nourish it. In this particular case, you need someone to nourish the baby out there. Right? The embryo is going to grow. You need someone to be there, which is exactly why we need the endometrium. And if this guy is not there, do you think endometrium can be maintained? No. And for this guy to be there, you need corpus luteum, right? And for corpus luteum, you need LH, right? Right. But without LH also, sometimes it can function if you have someone else to provide the signal out there. And that someone else is basically what? HCG, human chorionic gonadotrophin. So human chorionic gonadotropin is also released by placenta. Initially, when during pregnancy it is being released, but later on it is released by the placenta as well. And it makes sure that there is a steady supply of progesterone. It makes sure that there is a steady supply of progesterone, which is super important for the maintenance of pregnancy. Okay, for the maintenance of pregnancy. Always remember. So over here, you have the placenta, which releases human chorionic gonadotropin. It is released before also, but when placenta forms, then also it is being released. Do know that. When someone is pregnant, basically HCG is going to be released. Now, next thing is HPL, human placental lactogen. This is this next hormone which is there. Again, this is super important in terms of milk production, okay, to prepare the mother for milking process. The next is estrogen. Okay, and the last one is going to be progesterone. As you know, progesterone, estrogen, both of them are super important for the maintenance of the entire pregnancy process, as in endometrium and the placenta and a lot of other things out there, which is why these 4 hormones are the one which is released by placenta. So until now we have studied that they are released by the ovary. But when the placenta comes into picture, we say that placenta is the one that is releasing these 2 and also the other ones. So always remember, if at all you have been asked about what are the 4 hormones which is released by placenta, do know it is human chorionic gonadotropin. Second one is human placental lactogen. The third one is going to be what? Estrogen. And the fourth one is going to be progesterone. These 4 things are there. Apart from that, nothing else. Apart from that, nothing else. The first one is basically to help in making sure progesterone is being produced enough. The second one, and apart from that, there are other functions also. The next one is to make sure that the mother's, lactational period is being, means she is ready for the lactation, and the work is going around that. Estrogen and progesterone again are important for the maintenance of pregnancy. Cool. So these 4 hormones, please do remember that. Now there's a question, and that is this. Which of the following hormones is not secreted by the human placenta? Which of the following hormone is not secreted by the human placenta? Anyone who probably is watching this video from the starting point onwards, can you try it up? Can you try this one? You're most welcome, Iconic. Can you try this one? Okay, so I think, okay, you will take time to answer. Listen to me. The question is, which of the following hormone is not secreted by human placenta? The first one is progesterone, the second is HCG, the third is FSH, and the last one is relaxin. Ma'am, we know now that progesterone is released by placenta. HCG is also released by placenta. We do not know about relaxin. So let me tell you. Actually, in your NCERT, or according to your NCERT, it is released by ovary. Okay, it is released by ovary. No fault in that. It is actually released by ovary. Why? To make sure that basically there is relaxation of the pelvic ligaments out there. That means for the baby to easily move out, you have to make sure the ligaments over there are relaxed enough. Okay, that is why relaxin is being produced by the ovary during the later phase of pregnancy. We are going to study about this later phase of pregnancy, but I want to clear the confusion. That does not mean that relaxin is not produced by the placenta. It is. It's not there in your NCERT, but do know it is produced by the placenta as well. Way before, but yes. Okay, in your NCERT it's written about ovary. That's not at all an issue. It is produced by the ovary, but it's also produced by the placenta. Not always, okay, but yes. So that means that we are left with FSH, follicle stimulating hormone, and we clearly know FSH and LH, they are not released by placenta or the ovary or anything. Basically, it is produced by what? Your pituitary gland. Pituitary gland is going to produce, and pituitary gland is there in our brain. Right? Pituitary gland, which part of the pituitary gland? The anterior pituitary gland. The anterior pituitary gland is going to produce this particular hormone, that is follicle stimulating hormone, as well as luteinizing hormone, which is why the only answer for this question is going to be the only answer for this question is going to be CFSH, not relaxin. Okay, CFSH. That is the answer. Relaxin is produced by the placenta as well during the initial phase of pregnancy. During the later phase of pregnancy, who does the job? It is the ovary who takes up that particular job. Am I clear with this, or do you have any doubts that you wish to ask? Please make sure you clear up your doubts. Baba, if you have any doubt that is there, that is not allowing you to make things, settle down in your brain, probably you can ask me. Hello, Mirage. Any doubt? If no doubt, can you give me a thumbs up and probably we can move ahead? Mirage, is this useful for NEET? For NEET, you have to go a bit beyond this. You probably can do one thing. Watch one of the previous lecture and check if you're able to do the NEET question. Okay, just a little part of one of the previous session which was there, and see whether you are able to solve a question of NEET. If it does, you can go ahead with it. Okay, but in NEET in general, we have to go a little more in depth, a little more extra as well, to be honest, than KCET. Yes. Cool. Okay, fine. Now we have gestation. So we were talking about placenta. We spoke about the hormone right over here, the 4 hormones that is released by placenta. Now we're going to come over here and talk about a bit more things. Where is that? Have I not copied it? Just give me a second. So I think, where is it? No, it's not there. So probably I only have to talk about it. So listen to me carefully before I go ahead with all of this. I want to talk about one more very important thing. So there are a few more hormones which increases in our body in more amount. Okay, in the maternal blood in more amount during pregnancy. It does not mean that it is released only during pregnancy. I'm just saying their amount gets increased during pregnancy. So the first hormone which is there is going to be thyroxine. Thyroxine is the one that is going to control the metabolic rate. It is going to control the metabolic rate, as in the breakdown rate, the making of something rate, all of it. That is the role of thyroxine, both for the both for the embryo or the fetus and also the mother. Okay, that is the first one. The second one is going to be prolactin. Prolactin is something that is going to help with the process of lactation. Lactation means for the production of milk and everything. Again, it's there in the body, but it increases. Okay, it increases in the maternal blood. That means mother's blood. Okay, in many folds. This is the exact NCERT line. Many folds during pregnancy. And apart from it, there is one more hormone. Anyone have any idea about it? One more hormone is there. Come on, guess, Madi. Thyroxine is there, we have prolactin, and there should be ideally one more hormone which helps or which increases during many folds during pregnancy. Ma'am, who is Diksha? Diksha is the name of the company, da. Okay, anyways, come on. Any idea? Any idea? If no one gives the answer, probably I only come up with the answer. Okay, I don't think. Probably in the next lecture, you will be with a lot more energy. It is known as cortisol. So there is thyroxine, there is prolactin, and there is cortisol. Cortisol is also something that is going to help with, synthesis of a lot of things in our body and helps in the formation of the fetus as well. So these 3 hormones are going to increase in many folds. Please do remember that. So as of now, we have studied this about the hormones which increases in many folds. Then we have studied about the placental hormones. Okay, placental hormones, I want you to remember all of their names. What are the placental hormones over here? We have HCG, human chorionic gonadotropin. We have HPL, human placental lactogen. We have progesterone, and we have estrogen. So initially we think they are produced by the ovary, but now when the placenta is being formed, this function is taken up by them. And lastly, we have one more hormone, and that is the ovarian hormone. Ovarian hormone, or basically the hormone that is released by the ovary. And what is that, Baba? It is going to be none other than relaxin. Okay, it is produced only during later phase of pregnancy. Why do you think relaxin is produced? To relax the muscles out there, the ligament, the pelvic muscles out there, such that the baby can easily move out. Okay, it's for relaxing the ligaments or the muscles. Cool. These are the name of hormones that you need to remember. Please make sure you remember it. Know their segregation. Don't mix it up here and there. Very, very important. Cool. Yes. And now we go ahead with the next topic, and that is gestation. What do you mean by gestation? It's a period where basically the embryo is going to grow into a fetus. It is going to grow into a fetus. The entire period is known as gestation period. And over here in your NCERT, there are only few things mentioned about this particular thing, but it is very important. Okay. Major importance comes over here when you talk about in which month what is going to happen. But before that, there's a small paragraph about what exactly is there. So listen to me very carefully. Until now, we had the inner cell mass. We know the trophoblast is there for the formation of placenta and everything. Inner cell mass forms the actual embryo or the proper embryo, and you call it embryo proper, right? Inner cell mass leads to the formation of embryo proper. Now, what happens is right after implantation, it starts to specialize. Basically, it means that this particular embryo which is there, okay, there's an outer layer of this embryo which is known as ectoderm. What does the ectoderm form? It forms the skin, the brain and the nerves. It forms the skin, the brain and the nerves. The next thing that you have over here is going to be what? The endoderm. Endoderm is what? The innermost layer. So each part of the embryo is going to form something. Okay, ectoderm, the outer layer, everything outside is going to be formed by it. Then you have endoderm, which is going to form the lining of what? Lining of lungs, the gut, the liver, etc. All of it. Cool. Now we have mesoderm. Mesoderm is what? The middle layer that you have over here in between this. And that forms muscles, the bone, the heart, the blood and everything else which is there. Okay, so the muscles, bones, heart and the blood and everything is formed by the mesoderm. So ectoderm, which is the outermost layer, forms the skin and the nerves. Endoderm, which is the innermost layer, forms the lining of all your important organs, that is your gut, your lungs and everything. And what about the mesoderm? Mesoderm forms everything which is there in the middle, that is probably the muscles, it could be bones, it could be your heart, it could be the blood and a lot of other things. Okay, so these three layers which are there, these three layers which are right over here, you actually have a name for them. This is known as the germ layers. Okay, what do you call them? They are actually known as the germ layers. And germ layers, each of them have their individual works. So all organs come from these three layers. And inner cell mass has stem cells which has the potential to become any tissue or organ. So if at all you have seen it, okay, some people, when the baby is going to be formed, okay, when it's in the, what do you say, very small, it's in the fetal stage, at that particular point of time, they take them cells and they keep it. Why? Because these cells have the potential to become anything. It is known as totipotency. They can become anything out there. So always understand the cells of the inner cell mass has the potential to become anything which is there, and some people also keep it in the stem cell department, in the stem cell banks. Cool. Is this portion clear to you? Clear? Not clear? You have a doubt? Ask me. We were talking about inner cell mass. We were talking about how the segregation happened into ectoderm, mesoderm and endoderm. Okay, we spoke about each of these layers are going to form something in the embryo, basically in the fetus, whenever it is going to be formed out there. Cool. So children, now I'm going to go ahead with the next thing which is there, and that is what happens during each month. Okay, when the baby is inside mother's womb, and this is one of my favorite topic out there. So I'll just put it down like this. This is the first month, this is the third month, this is the fifth month. Space is less. So this is going to be the fifth month, and this is going to be the sixth month. These are the 4 months which you need to remember. Okay, just a second. In between that, you have second month also. So the first month is where the heart is being formed. Okay, we always make sure that when someone dies, we check whether their heart is beating. Similarly, when someone is born, the first thing that we check is heartbeat is there or not. So heart forms in the first month. Always remember that. So you can hear the heartbeat by the end of the first month. Now what happens? Slowly this fetus which is there is going to have some limbs and digits. What do you mean by that? Limb is this and digits are this. In the second month, you will be having limbs and digits. So you can just remember you have two limbs, right? Two limbs, hind limb, that is below, and forelimb. So just like that in the second month, 2, 2. Okay, second month, you have what? You have the limbs and the digits being formed, and we can make it like this. High five. Okay, now fine. Okay, fine. Now what happens in the third month, ma'am? So we have made the heart, we have made the limbs and the digits. Now the next thing that is going to happen, or probably we can make it something like this. Heart is there in the baby. Okay, and now the limbs is also there in the baby, and basically they have fingers also. Okay, now what's the next thing that happens? It is going to be the external major organ system is going to be formed. Your major organ system, okay, whatever organs you have in the body, basically all of it is going to be formed, and apart from that, the external genital organ is also going to be formed. So in the case of males, it is going to be penis. In the case of females, it is going to be mons pubis and all of the other parts which is there. So here by this particular month, that is by the third month, you have major organ system being formed. Major organ system, and apart from it, as I have told you right now, basically you have the external genital organ being formed. I know it will be kind of tricky to remember it in the first go, but you will remember it. Trust me on that. Okay, so this happens in the third month. Now what happens? Basically, by this particular point, okay, by this particular point, things are going to be a little different. Just give me a second. Guys, just give me a quick second. Okay, sorry. Yes. So by this time, major of the things is being formed. So I am going to call this as the first trimester. Why the first trimester? Basically, trimester means 3 months. So these are the first 3 months that we are having right over here. Okay. Now after that, what happens? In the 5th and the 6th month. In the 5th month, baby says that God, you did whatever you want until now, but this time you have to hear what I have to tell. Okay, I want hair on my head and I want to move around. It's very boring for me. So the first movement, okay, the first movement of the baby as well as the first hair on the head is noticed in the 5th month out there. So always remember every first thing, first movement, and basically on the head, nowhere else but on the head is noticed in the 5th month. Now what about happens in the 6th month? God said, hey Macha, you wanted hair, no, have hair all over your body. So they have, by the 6th month, the baby will be having tiny hair all over the body, and apart from that, the eyelashes are going to be formed, and the eyelids which are there, they are going to get separated. So over here you have what? Hair on the body. Okay, apart from that, eyelashes are going to be formed, and the third thing, eyelid is going to be separated. Eyelids which are there, they are going to be separated. These are the things that are going to happen. Now, ma'am, you skipped the 4th month. 4th month is not there in your NCERT. What about the 7th month? It's not there. 8th month, not there. It is actually written by the end of 9th month. Basically, the fetus is formed fully and it is ready to move out. That is what exactly happens. So I'll just repeat it, what I have taught, okay, over here, and such that things become even more clearer for us. Listen to me very carefully. In the first month, you have your heart. Okay, by the end of the first month, you will see thug, 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 thug. You will get to hear that. In the next month, second month, 2 things there. Okay, the forelimb and the hind limb develops. That means basically your legs and basically your forelimbs. That is this develops. And apart from that, you have digits as well. Digits means basically fingers. Okay, limbs and digits are being formed in the second month. What happens in the third month? In the third month, Baba, you will have most of your organ system being formed. And apart from that, the external genital organ that distinguishes between a male and a female, that is also being developed by the end of third month. And by the end of third month, I'll call it as trimester, first trimester. Okay, first 3 months is known as first trimester. So always understand, at the end of first trimester, you have heart, you have limbs, you have digits, you have most of the organs and everything, and all the external genitalia being formed. Now, fourth month, skip Madi. Okay, we come to fifth month. What happens in fifth month? Baby says that I want hair on my head and I want to show some style and all, and I want to move around. Please let me do that. So the first movement, God said that, Macha, you can do so. Don't worry, but I am going to give you something else also in the next month. So in the fifth month, for the first time, the baby is going to move, and apart from that, it will be having hair on the head. Okay, and what happens in the next month, that is sixth month? In the sixth month, God said, you wanted hair. No, have hair all over your body, and your eyelashes are also going to be formed. Your eyelids are going to get separated. These are the few things that are going to happen over here. And always understand, first 3 months done, second 3 months also done, fourth, fifth, sixth. This is known as the second trimester. This is known as the second trimester. Okay, next 3 months are also done. After that, one more 3 months is there. Basically, the next third trimester will be there, and after that, done. The process is done. The baby will be out. Cool. Now, this is one thing that is there, and apart from that, you also need to remember one more very important thing, and this can be the tricky part of the story. So we said 1 month, and we said basically this is the second month, and this is basically the third month, and this is basically the fifth month, and then you have what? The sixth month. Listen to me very, very carefully. 1 month has how many weeks? Any guesses, guys? 1 month has how many weeks? Any idea? Ma'am, these many weeks are there. No idea? 1 month has how many weeks? Come on, come on, come on. Okay, July. Right now we are in July. How many weeks are there in July? How many weeks are there in July? It's going to be 4 weeks. So I'll say by the end of 1 month, the baby is 4 weeks old. Okay, what about 2 months? 2 months means 1 month has 4 weeks. 2 months will be 2 into 4. That means 8 weeks. This type of question can also come. At the end of 8 weeks, what is going to happen? And Mahantesh, thank you, dear, for telling the answer 4. Good, great, awesome. So we have 8 weeks. Okay, basically 2 months means 8 weeks. You will be asked, at the end of 8 weeks, what is going to happen? Any guess what is going to happen? In the end of 8 weeks, what is going to be formed? Any guesses? We just discussed it. At the end of second month, what is going to be formed? The same thing is going to be formed at the end of 8 weeks also. Right? And that is what your limbs and the digits are going to be formed. Similarly, 3 months means what? 3 into 4. That means 12 weeks. That means 12 weeks. So these type of information is important. You will get questions based on this. Then you have 5 into 4, basically 20 weeks. Then you have 6 into 4, and that is 24 weeks. Mostly question comes on the basis of this, this, and this. Mostly questions come from these 3 things which are there. You would be asked about what happens in the end of 24 weeks. You have to tell eyelashes are formed, body hair is there, and eyelids are going to be separated. Got it? Cool. So this was one more topic. And now before I go ahead with the next one, I hope you're understanding the class. Well, if at all you are someone who's probably looking forward for a structured class throughout, okay, each and every class to be structured. I should know the timetable. I should know that what topic is going to be discussed today or probably on the next day, which is there. There is a course that we launched, and the name of that particular course is Pariksha Veera. Its name is Pariksha Veera, and the classes have already begun. And you know what? You're going to get up there. You are going to get the complete preparation for your second PUC. Okay? For your second PUC. Plus KCET. So your KCET, whatever portions are going to come from your second PUC, each and every question is going to be dealt, each and every concept is going to be understood. In that way, you are going to be board proof as well as KCET proof. And as I said, the classes have started. The schedule is something that is doable. You have 2 classes a day, and probably you can talk to people who have taken up their classes. Okay, so one class is of 1 hour 45 minutes. And the second class is also like that. Between that, you have a break, and every single day the classes are there except on second Saturdays and fourth Saturdays and Sundays. But then you would be having tests, you would be having your own assignments to do, which is something that is definitely going to help you out in your preparation. And guess by when? By when your second PUC content, or basically your KCET content for second PUC would be done? By November 6th. That means that you will be free from second PUC technically by November 6th. This is one very important thing, and I'll request every one of you to make sure that you check it out. This is actually very important. Where do you find the link? It is there in the description section, and probably I can show it to you. Okay, just give me a quick second. I really wish to show that to you. Suppose you by any chance miss it out, it will be a big miss. So some people, okay, so we go to the YouTube and we go to Diksha Karnataka right over here. This is the live that is taking place right now. And over here, if at all you see, there is a link. If at all you see, there is a link. Okay, this is register for Pariksha Veera. If you click on this particular link, you will be guided to this particular page where everything is written about the course. Make sure you check it out from your end, and if you feel that, yes, it is something that I would be requiring, you take it up. And all the subjects, physics, chemistry, mathematics, as well as biology is going to be covered up there. Cool. So this is what I wanted to tell you guys. If you have any doubts about Pariksha Veera, probably you can ask me. Good. And now, so this was one of the most important topics in this particular, we'll say, portion, or in this particular class that I have took, right? And the next important portion which is there, and I remind you once more, this is known as the first trimester. Do not get it wrong. And this is known as, basically, where is it? Yeah. This is from 4th month onwards. From 4th month onwards, this is known as the second trimester. Ayo. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? It's went. Okay, it went. I think I added a wrong page. Anyways, so that's about it. And what about solving some questions now? Let's solve some questions. So this is something for you guys who have understood the concept. Those of you who have not understood will not be able to do it. But I'm pretty sure a lot of you have understood. So let's try it out. Select the mismatched pair. First month of pregnancy, formation of heart. Second month of pregnancy, movement of fetus. Third month of pregnancy, formation of most of the major organ system. 6th month of pregnancy, eyelids are separate and eyelashes are being formed. What is your answer for this question? 1, that says C is wrong. Okay, 2, that says D is wrong. 3, that says A is wrong. Or D, that says B is wrong. What do you think is the answer for this particular question? You have to find which one is the mismatch, which one is wrongly being paired. Come on, try it up. Any idea? Mahantesh, Macha here. Okay, then probably I'll tell the answer and I'll not give you a chance. Yes. So the answer for this question, Baba, okay, first month, ma'am, formation of heart happens. That is actually correct. Second month of pregnancy, movement of fetus. How can in second month of pregnancy, baby can start to move? Mahantesh gave me the answer. It is basically B, but you have to basically choose from here. Yeah, B is correct. B is wrong, and that is D, right? D option. So second month of pregnancy, movement of fetus is going to be wrong. The reason being that in second month of pregnancy, you have limbs and the digits being formed. Good one, Mantesh. Perfect. Third month of pregnancy, formation of most of the major organ system. Correct. 6th month of pregnancy, eyelids are separate, eyelids are formed, everything. That is also correct. So your only answer which is wrong is going to be B. Good? Yes. Now let's go ahead with the next question, that is, in which month of gestation the first movement of fetus and the appearance of hair on its head is observed? 5th month, 1st month, 8th month, 4th month. Now this is again a KCET question. This is not made by me, okay? Come on, try to give the answer for this. And guys, you can. You definitely can. Any idea? Any idea? C. Mahantesh said C. C is 8th month. Are you sure about C? Are you sure about C? First movement of the fetus and appearance of hair. First F. Okay. F. 5th month also F. That is how usually I remember. It becomes very, very easy. So it's the 5th month, Baba. It is the 5th month. First movement of hair. Remember, baby said to God that, God, I want hair and I also want to move around. Yes, and the God said that, hey, Macha, you wanted hair? No, have hair on your body. That happens in the next month. That is 6th month. So in the 5th month, this is going to be there. Do not forget it and get it correct. Okay? It's okay to get things wrong. But now you know the answer. And I hope you have understood it, Baba. Yes? Clear? Fine. So we're going ahead, I think, with the next topic, and that is going to be the last topic of this particular chapter, which is parturition. Okay, it is known as parturition. So let's go ahead and talk about parturition. First of all, what do you mean by parturition? Parturition means expulsion of the fetus out of the female body. Once the entire gestation period is over, the baby is fully formed. The expulsion of the fetus, okay, outside the body is known as parturition. It is also known as childbirth. Now, why do you think this happens at the first place? Because the baby wants to move out. Now, here is the story that you need to remember. So, this is Baba, the uterus. And here is our chutku. Okay. Here is our chutku. Now, what exactly happens is, over here you have the innermost layer and you have the placenta and everything which is attached to this, and so many things are happening out there. And there is your myometrium, the muscular layer. This is what? The myometrium. So when the baby is being formed, the baby says, Macha, I want to move out, I want to move out, and it slowly starts moving out. When it does, when it tries to do so, okay, there are two things that are going to happen. One is this, the next one is something else. When it tries to do so, there are some stretch receptors over here. There are going to be some stretch receptors over here which are going to be activated. It says that, oh my God, emergency, emergency, the baby is trying to move out. These stretch receptors which are there are going to send a neural signal, or basically I can say a nervous signal, to what? To the mother's brain. To the mother's brain, that, oh my God, something is happening up over here. So I am just writing maternal. Instead of brain, I am putting the exact location of it, and that is pituitary. You know pituitary gland, the pituitary gland which was releasing FSH and LH, follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. That particular gland is the anterior part. Okay, so pituitary gland has two parts, anterior lobe and posterior lobe. So the anterior lobe releases FSH and LH. There is posterior lobe. Okay, there is going to be posterior lobe which is going to release a hormone, and this hormone is super important. It is known as oxytocin. This is what, Baba? A hormone. Understand, you send a nervous signal out, the neuronal signal out there. Now the pituitary gland is going to release a hormone, and this hormone travels through blood. It travels through blood and is going to come over here. It is going to come over here towards the myometrium. Why, ma'am? What is happening up there? I'll tell you. So let's have a reverse back. The baby is over here. As I said, it tries to move out, but apart from that, there's one more thing that happens. Basically, there are some hormones being released up here as well. Okay, there are some hormones which are being released up over here. Placenta also releases some hormones, and these hormones are going to do one major thing. They are going to make some receptors active over here. They will make sure that the receptors over here in the myometrium are now active and basically are more in number. What are these receptors? These are oxytocin receptors. So basically there's a dialogue chain that happened over here. There's an exchange of hormones that happened over here, and then after that, when this happened, basically the receptors on the myometrium, the muscular layer, they got active. What are these receptors? Oxytocin receptors. Okay, this is right there. Oxytocin receptors are there. The baby is trying to move out. This sends a neuronal signal to what? Pituitary gland. What is pituitary gland releases? Again, oxytocin. This oxytocin now comes and binds on the receptors. And when it binds on the receptors, what is going to happen? Baba, it is the muscular layer that it is binding on. It is what? The muscular layer that it is binding on. This muscular layer is going to undergo contraction. It is going to undergo contraction and relaxation, and this is smooth muscles, not other muscles. It is smooth muscles. That means basically they're involuntary, they're not under anyone's control. They're gonna just do this, contract, relax, contract, relax, contract, relax, and when that happens, basically the baby tries to move down. Again the receptors become active, again the hormones come and attach over here, again the same loop goes on until the baby is finally out, and later on the placenta and the umbilical cord comes along with it. Okay, so it is triggered by, how is it triggered? The starting point is what? The starting point is the signals that come from the fetus and the placenta. The fully formed fetus and the placenta, both of them are going to send the signals. First of all, as I said, here, over here, because of some hormones being released, I'll tell you the name, it's prostaglandins. Okay, because of which there will be mild uterine contraction. There will be mild uterine contraction, which is exactly why the baby will move out a little bit. The hormones, these receptors become active, and then the whole thing changes up. Okay, so always remember, this is fetal ejection reflex, the first thing that triggers up the whole of the parturition process. Now, oxytocin from maternal pituitary causes stronger uterine contraction, and it creates positive feedback loop. As I said, it keeps on happening, and finally the baby is going to be delivered. Now after birth, the placenta is also expelled. The placenta also comes out. Now doctors inject oxytocin to induce labor. Now when it is required, doctors inject oxytocin such that basically this contraction and relaxation happens up there. This is the basic funda which is there. Okay, and finally the baby will be out. The baby will be needing what? Milk. Why the milk? Why is the milk super important for the baby at that point? Because the first milk from the mother is known as colostrum. What is it known as? It is known as colostrum. And this milk which is there, it is rich in antibodies. It is very much rich in antibodies. Which antibodies, Baba? It is IgA. You can remember A for Amma. These antibodies fight against a lot of things. Okay, these antibodies, they're going to fight against all the bad guys that are coming in the body, as in basically the pathogens that are going to cause diseases. Okay, got it? Sohail ma'am, you're the most beautiful teacher. Oh my god, thank you so much, Sohail. And you're the most beautiful student that I have seen. Okay, but anyway, I hope this session was useful for you, and this is something that is important. So remember, this is parturition. It is triggered by both the fetus, fully formed fetus, and the placenta. There are some hormones being released, to be specific, prostaglandins, which are going to cause mild uterine contraction. This is going to send the baby down. This is going to induce a neuronal signal which goes to the posterior pituitary, releasing oxytocin. The oxytocin comes back over here, attaches to the receptors on the myometrium, and causes strong uterine contraction. This creates a positive feedback loop. This is going to create a positive feedback loop. Finally, when the baby is out, the milk is super important. The first milk is known as colostrum, which is rich in antibody A. You will learn about antibody when you go ahead with human health and diseases, and I'll teach you that. Cool? Works? Cool. So now you have a question. The signals for the parturition process originates from. The signals for the parturition process originates from muscles of uterus, or fully developed fetus and the placenta, or just the placenta, or the hormones of ovaries and the uterus. What do you think is the answer for this particular question? Any idea? Any idea? A, D. Mahantesh says B. Oh my god. Okay. The answer for this question is going to be B. We studied it right now, right? Fully developed fetus and the placenta. The signals for parturition actually originates from them. Okay, Sohail, get it correct, dear. Mahantesh, good work. Cool. Now, one more question. Under the influence of oxytocin, which layer of the uterus exhibits strong contraction during parturition? That means, under the influence of oxytocin comes and tells which layer to do contraction such that the baby can be moving out. A, the endometrium, B, myometrium, C, perimetrium, D, both A and C. This is a KCET question, both of them. What do you think is the answer for this? What do you think? Is the B is the answer? Yeah, exactly, Sohail. B is the answer, and that is myometrium, the muscular layer. Perfect. Mahantej also B. So children, you understood what I taught. Perfect. Super happy. And that's all. And we end today's live session. By the way, we have ended the chapter as a whole. We will come again probably in the next session, where either I'll start up a new chapter, is reproductive health, or probably we'll solve questions. Do you want the next session to be about all the PYQs of this chapter, or basically you want me to start the next chapter? According to what you guys say, I'm going to do it. Okay, Sohail, I saw that. I need to use my brain to understand it, but I'll definitely use it after this. Understood, guys? What do you want in the next class? Questions directly, or do you want the next chapter altogether? Because we have completed the chapter today. Okay, so probably you can tell me later on as well, and I'll end the class. Thank you so much for being there, and you guys are awesome. Wishing you the best, and that's all. Questions? Okay, Mantesh, we'll bring out more questions. Okay? I know when you remove bug, what happens. Okay, anyways. Okay then, bye-bye. Take care. Lots of love. See you soon. Bye-bye.